Contestant number 318, beanie. Come up on stage.
Hi. Okay. And now.
Thank you, next. Wait, what? Thank you. Next. Move along, kid.
What? I haven't even started my thing yet.
We've seen what we needed to see, okay? You can move along now.
Well, that's just a bit unfair now, isn't it?
Look, kid, you're not exactly the type that we're looking for, okay? You can leave. Bye. Then what exactly are you looking for?
He said potato! Again. We need to talk about the Sing movies. To those who haven't noticed, the sequel to the mega successful Sing, Sing 2, was released not too long ago, December of last year to be exact. But that would be impossible to miss because, good God, Universal marketed this movie like a missing daughter. To those who aren't aware, the Sing movies are animated jukebox musicals. The worst type of musicals, but hey, that's just me. Created by a company known as the one and the only Illumination. No! I dare you to bring up the minions again. I double dare ya. Yes, Illumination. The reason why you had to delete your Facebook because one minion meme a day is one too many. Hey, what did I just say? Now, say what you want about Illumination. They're bland, uninspired, they milk the shit out of every one of their franchises. They're too lazy to even try, so they end up casting high-profile celebrities instead of finding new, lesser-known talent. Hell, the Mario movie casting just proves this. But one thing's for sure that we cannot deny, they make money. And a ton of it. I mean, just look at that budget versus box office turnout. Goddamn, that's a lot of money. So you can't blame them on their lack of effort when they clearly found a working formula. When Disney is best known for their deep stories and creative ideas that are enjoyable for all audiences, Illumination is quite literally the opposite of that. They pander to the younger demographic because they know that's where their money comes from. Learn from the past and grow as an individual? Nah, Kevin Hart's a bunny. A story about generational trauma and the negative effects it has on a family? Lol, minion wearing bikini. They know who watches their movies and they just don't care. And that's why they don't try. But hey, this is not an Illumination slander video, okay? Because what if I told you that they have a franchise that just oozes potential? Well, that's why we're here. Because even after everything I just said, I personally think, in all honesty, that guys, the Sing movies aren't that bad. Okay, let me explain. Yes, I think the Sing movies aren't as bad as people are making it out to be. One fatal red flag that turns people off for this movie is this weird stigma around Illumination equals bad, which is not true. Yes, they pump out bad movies. Oh, I have no defense. I'm saying you're right. But that doesn't mean that it's okay to cast a blanket for all their work, especially future projects. This goes especially well with the Sing movies. But at the same time, it's hard to make a review out of them because both movies are just one big blah. You know? There's no uniqueness or fun content in it. They just go by the numbers from the start until the very end. Initially, I was going to upload 2 videos of these movies, one being a review of the first Sing and the other would be of Sing 2. But in order for me to do that, I had to watch the sequel. So I did. Sad to say that after watching Sing 2, I had to scrap the whole idea because it's the same fucking movie. Beat for beat, it's the same thing. Main character wants a shot to better his show and career. Main character finds a way to get said shot. Main character ends up lying to fulfill said shot. Other characters have their own mini subplot. Stuff goes wrong with management and thugs and the show gets cancelled. Group finds illegal way to do the show anyways. Other characters' mini subplot gets resolved during the show. Group's illegally ran show is a hit, no repercussions whatsoever. Happy faces all around. The end. Beat 4 beat. But amidst of all that, the Sing franchise, can't believe I'm calling it a franchise, is still really enjoyable. I honestly think that the good outweighs the bad. The musical performances in both movies are actually good, and the animation looks great and super smooth. Their jokes are hit and miss, but most of the time, they hit. And the voice acting and casting is actually surprisingly good. Matthew McConaughey voicing a 3-foot-tall talking koala bear was the last thing I would expect to work. But good lord, it works. That's exactly what a koala would sound like. That and Nom Nom. Whoa! One thing I would say is the weakest link in the Sing movies is the storytelling. Both movies follow the liar reveal formula, a formula everybody in general is sick of at this point, but they also do its anthology-like storylines with the rest of the cast. And, like everyone else has said, both of these approaches are just done so lazily, it's astonishing. But I'm getting too ahead of myself. In order to get a clearer picture in what I'm trying to say, we have to take a deeper look into what makes this franchise work and what doesn't. So, for consistency's sake, I'm still going to be reviewing both movies, but considering the fact that each is as identical than the last, I'll be more detailed in Sing 2. Well, enough stalling. Let's start off with the first movie, Sing. Also, side note, a lot of people in the comments have called me out for being too mean when reviewing movies, so fine, I'll turn a new leaf. I'll be more positive and more considerate this time around. I hate all of you. Our story begins with the narration of the main character, an owner of a struggling theater, Buster Moon. Oh, hell yeah, now that's how you name a character. Buster Moon. Sleek. Clean. Snazzy. Exactly a name of a producer in an animated showbiz industry would have. Added a context that the moon rises with the stars, what a clever and ingenious idea. Glad Illumination got creative here and went above and beyond with the names. Here, Illumination, have a smiley face. We're then introduced to his assistant, Miss Crawley. And you gave up already. Miss Crawley? Really? You named the lizard character Miss Crawley? What's wrong, Illumination? Did you run out of name ideas already? Was Miss Greenwood too on the nose? Did the producer's 3-year-old daughter demanded to name the chameleon? Next thing you're gonna tell me is that you gave up altogether and decided to name the rest of the characters boring generic names found in the first page of Google. Oh, for fuck's sake! On his way to lunch, we're introduced to the other characters. And yes, let's talk about them. As I said earlier, both Sing movies also follow multiple storylines that get resolved during the big show. We have Johnny, voiced by ᵈᵒⁿᵈ, who is a teenage gorilla whose passion is to sing, but is stuck being part of his father's gang. Then we have Rosita, voiced by Reese Witherspoon, who is an overstressed pig who's a mother of 25 piglets and a wife of an overworked husband. She dreams of becoming a singing sensation someday. We have Ash, voiced by Scarlett Johansson, who is a freshly broken teenage porcupine who's trying to get over a nasty breakup. Then we have Mina, voiced by Tori Kelly, who is an introverted teenage elephant with extraordinary talent.
Happy birthday, dear Grandpa. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, honey, we have a mouse that robs a guy. How did you end up being the most hated character here? Then we have Gunther, voiced by Nick Kroll, who is simply a pig who loves to dance. And then we have Mike, voiced by Seth MacFarlane, who is an egotistical mouse way over his head. He simply wants to show off and be better than everyone else. Mike soon gets replaced by Porsha in the sequel, but we'll get there when we get there. And simply put, each of these characters have their own plot line in the movie. So, in an overall scale, having 5 to 6 characters have their own story topped off with the main plot, you'd think that the film would end up being overcrowded and a complete mess. Well, here's the thing. It's not. The movie, even with all its characters, all these storylines, and all the built-up conflict, still feels empty and hollow. It's probably because the storylines practically just come and go, pretty much just there to be there. They get set up only to not have a middle and get resolved in the end. Besides Moon, the only character that show even a slight of an interesting story progression is Johnny, but even then, that felt half-assed, cause his resolution ends with his dad taking notes from Abuela Alma and magically makes a 180 turn, fully accepting his son's passion for singing minutes after after practically disowning him.
Look, Dad, no, it's okay. It's okay. I can get the bail money. There's a prize. It's $100,000.
How did I end up with a son like you, eh? It's Johnny! That's my son!
Bruh. Hell, if anything, Moon's best friend Eddie, who has like 10 minutes of total screen time, has a better arc than anyone else. He ends up being a supportive friend who accepts a low-paying job after being established to be a lazy, spoiled rich kid who spent most of the movie being a contrarian to Moon. The same thing happens in the sequel too, but I'll get to that more later in the Sing 2 review, but I think you get my point. The other characters' subplots are just buffed out filler that's given little to no care, making them utterly pointless, which is a shame because one of the better things done in these movies are in fact the characters. Each one of them are likable and relatable. Well, most of them. And in an odd way, you actually root for them in their own story. I think that's one of the upsides in sticking to the cliches, because no matter what happens, you sympathize with the character's individual struggles. But that's where the problems start to take formation. The characters as individuals are great, but good God, they have no chemistry as a group whatsoever. They barely interact with each other, and when they do, they're just 1 to 2 lines of nothing. Hell, I don't even think Ash and Johnny exchange a line in both movies. It kind of defeats the purpose of the group being projected as having this close family bond when nothing gives a sense that they're a family. Well, anyways, with our main character's motivations established, we cut back to Moon. Buster Moon plans on saving his theater by hosting a singing competition with a grand prize of $1,000.
My next show is gonna be, drumroll please, a singing competition.
After a slight mix-up, however, Miss Crawley, God, what a stupid name, Miss Crawley unknowingly types out $100,000 instead and proceeds to spread the word.
Oopsie daisy.
Well, I guess that's one way to spread the word.
And that's why you're in danger. The rest of the characters, together with the other individuals, see the flyers with the prize money and decide to audition. And so, the plot begins. Moon ends up selecting our main characters as part of the show, and basically, the movie goes on autopilot. Yep, the rest of the movie is basically filler and total build-up to the big old liar reveal moment. Mike gets into trouble with a gang of bears, and the very same gang ends up crashing the dress rehearsal where they expose Moon doesn't actually have the 100,000.
He lied. Moon lied to us all. Wait a second, I can explain.
Now, not advocating to lying your way out of a problem here, but Moon could have easily lied his way out of a problem here. Come on, man, just go, guys. You didn't actually think I have $100,000 inside a treasure chest, right? That's just irresponsible. Now, please, leave my theater before I call the cops. Oh, the glass is breaking. But yeah, that's not what happens. He gets caught on a lie, but before things could get any worse, the theater collapses and gets destroyed, and the show is ultimately cancelled, and the theater finally seized by the bank. And as most liar reveal movies do, we spend the rest of the third act moping around.
I do. Listen, you're not the only one who lost something here. We all did. I mean, I lost any chance of ever speaking to my dad again over this show.
Okay, I don't know about that one, Johnny. I wouldn't say everyone lost something. Rosita still has her husband and kids. Ash was already losing her boyfriend from the start. Mina still has her family's support. I don't want to know what Gunther lost. And we never really cared about Mike. Dude, if anything, you're the one who lost something for the show. I think you need to join them in the pool house ASAP. But anyways, later on, after hearing Mina sing, Moon decides to proceed with the show. Could have worn something more appropriate before showing yourself in front of a teenage girl there, Moon, but okay. So, he and the crew trespass and illegally build a stage into which is now private property and begin their show. Yeah, illegally running a big show is kind of a running theme in these movies, but hey, songs! And we finally get what the whole movie has built up to, or what the whole point of the movie was, the final performances. And I know it's not a competition anymore, but Johnny clearly won. Hands down. I know the movie kind of hyped Mina to steal the spotlight, but nah, Johnny won. Mina can go sing and ruin other kids' birthday parties for all I care. Johnny won this, okay? Agreement is the only acceptable response. The show's a big hit. No criminal charges filed whatsoever. Eddie's aunt buys back the theater. They have a grand reopening and all is well. Dear God, those poor squids! So they're just gonna float there in the glass tanks outside the theater? Moon, do you have any idea how hot it gets in LA? I do love me some calamares though. And that was Sing. Now here's Sing 2. You know how much you don't have to care to call your musical Sing 2? For fuck's sake, guys, your previous movie was about a performance in a theater. There's literally a word for one more time in that situation. Encore. Sing the encore. Hello? Are you kidding me? Illumination? Hello? Come on, guys. It's right there and you didn't even try. So, now that we've covered the first Sing movie, I think it's time to finally take a look at the sequel. Released late in December of 2021, considering most critics and audiences pretty much feel the same on this one, I guess there's not much to worry about. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Our movie begins with the return of Mina frantically running away from something in the woods. Probably those death threat TikToks she's been told not to worry about.
Hey, dear Grandpa.
Nah, turns out this was all part of the play the whole gang starred. Oh boy, what were in those brownies? Apart from Mina, we welcome back Johnny, Rosita, Gunther, Buster Moon, and Miss Crawley. And I guess the movie quickly establishes that Moon's next big plan is to bring his show onto a bigger stage, specifically on a place called the Red Shore City, pretty much their version of Las Vegas and Chicago. And in order to do that, he has to impress a certain talent scout named Suki Lane. Unfortunately for them, Suki thinks they're not good enough to bring their show onto the big leagues.
No, please, be as honest as you like.
You're not good enough.
Hey, that's exactly what everyone says whenever Illumination asks why we hate them. But not the type to back down, Moon convinces his stars to come with him to Red Shore and audition for the next big show ran by Crystal Entertainment. He recruits back Ash, and so the story begins. They finally get to Red Shore. Hey buddy, eyes on the fucking road! But their plan is taken to a stop when they realize that, shocker, you can't just barge into a high-class meeting without an appointment. Really? Did none of you thought of that possible scenario? And here's a common annoying thing when it comes to these movies. After being rejected to meet up with the man in charge of the auditions, Moon and the gang coincidentally stumble across an unlocked employee closet, coincidentally finds out that an elephant is an employee, coincidentally finds a room that leads straight into the auditions, coincidentally gets noticed by the assistant and is given a chance to audition, and Gunther coincidentally mentions that Calloway, a famous singer, and his songs were part of this imaginary show, which results to the antagonist, Jimmy Crystal, hiring them because, get this, Calloway is coincidentally his favorite singer. Notice a pattern here? A common occurrence that happens with these two movies is that the writers just take everything up to timing and coincidences. And it's not like it only happens once or twice. It's literally what drives the plot along. This just comes right back to lazy storytelling. The writers clearly had an ending planned out already and nothing else, so they just winged the rest of the story. Well, backtracking for a little bit, let's focus on the positives the movie actually has.
Everybody mop.
I fucking swear to God. However, Moon and the gang get rejected by Jimmy Crystal and are asked to leave. But of all people, Gunther ends up persuading the scary producer into buying into this crazy imaginary show he's pitched. The main selling point being Calloway.
He's amazing. Songs like Clay Calloway too. Whoa. Clay Calloway? I love Clay Calloway.
Well, what a coincidence. Now, here's a familiar scene. Moon ends up lying so that he can have his big show and achieve his dreams. Moon? Hello? Character development? Learning from the past? Remember the last time you lied? Yeah, he actually ends up lying to the management about knowing Clay Calloway personally and having permission to use his songs in the play. This koala did not learn a single thing from the first movie. Now, I can't go into full details with their subplots because this video already is as long as it is, so here's a quick rundown. Johnny can't dance for shit, and the show's choreographer hates him. So, Johnny goes to find his own teacher named ᵒᵒⁿᵗ, what the fuck, so that he can learn the dance on his own pace. Nina's never been in love, and for her to succeed in her part in the play, she has to sing with a partner. She doesn't have chemistry with him though, so she has to find a way to look in love. Rosita dreams of singing in a lead role in Red Shore City, but discovers that she's afraid of heights. She gets replaced by Porsha as a lead, but eventually gets it back. We also have Ash and Porsha, but these two storylines are part of Moon's main plot, so will be more detailed there. Now, if you're wondering where Mike is in the sequel, well, that's an excellent question. You see, fans observed, speculated, and theorized that in the last shot of the previous movie, he died. So, after convincing Jimmy Crystal to hire them to run his show, the gang now has 3 weeks to get everything ready.
I'll give you 3 weeks, Moon. 3 weeks to get this show up and running, okay?
Which means Moon has to find a way to get Clay Calloway onto his show. Oh yeah, did I mention that this Calloway guy has been missing for nearly 15 years now? Yeah, he's been missing for 15 years now. Yeah, so coincidentally, Ash is also quite a big Clay Calloway fan, and she mentions that after his wife died, he dropped out of the showbiz industry and no one has heard from him since. Huh. So he's been off the grid all these years. No one has seen him since, and we have no idea where he is now. I wonder how the writers are going to solve. So Miss Crawley miraculously manages to find and locate Clay Calloway.
Mr. Moon, I found him.
Clay Calloway?
Yeah, I found his home address.
But how? You mean to tell me that a frenzy of journalists and the most avid Calloway fans couldn't find this guy, but a 200-year-old one-eyed chameleon managed to track down his home address in less than a day? Wouldn't it make much more sense if it was Ash who'd find this out? It's been established that she already knows everything there is to know about this guy. Hell, she even ends up being the one to convince him to leave his home. Fucking Ash is right there. She doesn't do anything until later on. Couldn't you just give that assignment to her? Hello, writers? This isn't nitpicking. These are stuff you guys set up from the start. I'm just trying to piece them together. Moving on, we get to meet the daughter of Jimmy Crystal, Porsha, voiced by Halsey. She ends up taking Rosita's part as a lead role after Moon gets forced by Jimmy to do so. Later on though, Jimmy Crystal finds out about Moon's lies and threatens that if Clay Calloway isn't in the show, he'll straight up kill Moon. No, I'm not kidding. The only reason why he doesn't do it sooner is because his daughter Porsha is part of the show.
I swear if you didn't have my kid in your show, you'd be out of that window by now.
Now, put a pin on that because that becomes a very important detail later on. But yeah, surprisingly, the movie does the liar reveal moment pretty early in the movie. They even treat the reveal as a form of scare more than a sad one. But I don't mind it. In fact, I actually like that they just throw away the liar reveal plot altogether. Now, more important than ever, Moon and Ash go and track down Calloway to try to convince him to join their show.
Don't listen to him.
Well, they're dead. That's scene 2, everybody. Thanks for watching. Okay, fine, they're not actually dead. In fact, here's where we get to meet Clay Calloway, voiced by Bono. And here we actually get one of the better storylines in both movies. The Calloway subplot isn't anything new. It's your typical lost love, lost passion cliche, and the movie kinda rushes the progress on this one, but they still managed to make it work. The writers clearly knew this type of story can tug a few heartstrings, so they go all in on it. This is one of the better handled storylines in the whole movie. Ash's character was built solely to be the guide here, and she does feel like she really wants to help. And I gotta admit, Calloway really does seem to be broken and lost at times. So, of course, he can't help but feel a little bit emotional once he walks down a tunnel strumming his guitar and singing his song. It's lazy, don't get me wrong, but it's still done in a smart and effective way. After hearing Ash sing one of his songs for the first time in 15 years, he agrees to be part of the show. Damn, it took a one-eyed dinosaur to find your address in less than a day and one song from Ash to convince you to come back. Alright man, okay, fine. Are you sure you've been missing for 15 years? We cut back to Moon running back to Red Shore, where he recasts Porsha's lead back to ᵒᵒⁿ'ᵗ.
I have to give the lead role back to Rosita.
What?
I'm just offering you the opportunity to switch roles.
This doesn't bode well with Porsha, however, and overreacts to the demotion as being fired. She tells about the situation, and Jimmy Crystal no longer has any reason why he won't unalive Moon. Now, remember the pin we had earlier? Keep that pin because it's still important later on. But seeing that he refused to end Moon right there because Moon was running the show his daughter was in, kind of implied that he had a soft spot for his daughter, and how the two have a smooth father-daughter relationship with one another, right? So imagine how confused I was when out of nowhere Jimmy just flips his daughter off and calls her a talentless embarrassment.
Daddy?
Now the whole world thinks I got a talentless loser for a daughter. Take her home.
What? So, do you guys like each other or not? You guys seemed fine earlier during rehearsals. Where did this sudden tension come from? It's like the writers forgot to show that these two actually don't like each other. And no, it's not just for this scene. Porsha spends the rest of the movie telling her dad off and imply that she's tired of following his every command. Like, he wasn't though. In fact, he spent most of the time providing you everything you asked for.
She wants to meet Calloway. Big fan, aren't you, baby?
Daddy! He won't let me jump!
Moon, come on, let her do the thing.
I can't just give you Rosita's part. I mean...
Daddy, I'm hungry for French toast!
Jerry, get us some French toast.
So I have no clue when this sudden hatred stemmed from. Her dad calls her talentless like it's a thought she'd always been carrying, and she tells her dad that she'll no longer live under his thumb. These two conflicts were never established once. Is everything okay, movie? Do you need a timeout? Well, anyways, Moon ends up surviving Jimmy's attempted murder and instead gets locked in the closet. Suki breaks him out though, and the gang plan to leave Red Shore as soon as possible. But before they could do so, Jimmy goes on live TV to call out Moon and his crew. This would motivate the gang into performing their show, however, and decide to sneak into the concert grounds and do their big show. Yep, our pure-hearted, lovable leads are once again going to commit crime and illegally run a show. Character development does not matter in this universe. So, after a few carefully crafted plans, the gang managed to sneak into the venue and do the show.
I don't suppose any of you can tap dance, huh? Huh. Well, let's move it, folks.
Oh, what a coincidence. Now, remember the pin we had earlier? Well, here's the gist of it. Short of one performer, they go and bring back Porsha to take over ᵒᵒⁿ'ᵗ's old role. And get this, she actually agrees.
Yeah, well, maybe I overreacted a little before.
Overreact? You're literally the reason we're doing this show illegally. Call your dad and tell him to stand the fuck down. We got Calloway. You're back in the show. There's literally no reason why he'd keep it canceled or why he has to murder Moon. People are gonna line up to watch us anyways, so why would he pass up the opportunity of profit? Yeah, the main storyline kinda stops giving a shit and throws away all key plot points out the window. Jimmy Crystal spends the rest of the movie trying to stop the show and unalive Moon. Why? Your daughter is in the play. Calloway's in it too. The two specific things you wanted to have. It also looks like the show had a massive turnout. A show that you produce. Why are you trying to stop it? I swear, if the writers can just take a moment and just read the stories that they write. Well, anyways, as I said before, we get to the best part of the movies, the final performances. And yeah, the musical numbers in this one really is a step up to the predecessor. The song choices and singing are great, and the animation is colorful and vibrant. I mean, just look at this. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. We get a quick intervention from Jimmy Crystal throwing Moon off the ledge, but he gets saved by ᵒᵒⁿ'ᵗ conquering her fear, so that's taken care of. And finally, we get the final musical number from Ash and Calloway.
I'm not ready. I'm sorry. I'm not ready.
Sure. I'm sure they casted a well-known award-winning musician to a role where his character doesn't get to sing. Sure, Illumination. Sure. Damn, that's good. Not gonna cry though. I mean, there's no way Illumination would actually try to make you emotional at this point, right? Like, what are they gonna do? Have Calloway's wife apparition show up behind him? Ah! Look away. I'm not crying in Sing 2. Look away. I said look away! The show's a big hit, no criminal charges filed whatsoever, besides Jimmy. The play gets picked up by another huge company to run in their theater, and all is well. Don't know what happens to the theater that Moon desperately tried to salvage back in the first movie, but hey, we don't care, it's Illumination. So remember kids, all you have to do is lie, steal, and trespass, and you too can achieve your wildest dreams. Go, commit crime. Who'll stop you? The law? Human morals? Nah, who needs that? That'll get you nowhere. Crime all the way, baby. Crime, 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 crime. And that was Sing and Sing 2. And all in all, both movies are fine. The singing is great, the characters are likable, the jokes are funny, and the animation is really impressive, especially with the environment. Yes, the storytelling is cliche and the writing is beyond lazy, but it's not too harmful for the experience. Overall, I won't be rewatching both Sing and Sing 2 anytime soon, but it's still enjoyable enough to be watched if you just happen to stumble upon them. So yeah, I guess I'm giving the first Sing a 5 out of 10 and Sing 2 a gracious 6 out of 10. That's about it. Don't kill me, please. Thank you. I will say this though, the Sing franchise is just a whole lot of nothing and I just can't see myself talking about it in more than one video. Like, can you imagine losing your mind over a movie such as Sing? Oh dear lord, he's lost it. That's today's video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed your stay. You can follow me in my socials. They're all linked down below. Have a great day and a great life. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.